Okay, I think we'll make a start. So welcome everybody to the first webinar in our series, and this is an introduction to organic colour systems. My name is Raoul Perfit. I'm the Managing Director of Herb UK Limited, and welcome to our webinar. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully this will go smoothly and we'll be able to get cracking. What we'll do, we'll record any messages or questions that you have. There should be a little section where you can type in questions. We'll take them down and we'll endeavour to get back to you as soon as possible with email, rather than trying to answer everything as we go along. So please take notes. If you feel like emailing us later, that's fine, and we'll, as I say, get back to you as soon as possible. So off we go. Hopefully the next slide will come up. Okay, so who are we? We were established in 1994. Herb UK is the parent company of Organic Colour Systems and is the brand owner and the manufacturer of the product. We are the first professional hair colour brand to introduce organic ingredients. We were the first to pioneer this area, and back in 1994 we established a salon business in the UK. Our credentials have always been that we are green and environmentally conscious. We always produce our products here ourselves, manufactured in the New Forest in England, and we export to over 40 countries worldwide. And the thing that's unique about Herb UK and Organic Colour Systems is that we actually formulate, we manufacture, and we actually produce all our own products here on site, which gives us a unique position in the market. And it's nice to know we're still privately owned. So you are talking to one of the owners of the business, and that also gives us a insight into what we do, and hopefully we can communicate directly with our customers and give you good information and good feedback. So here are our 5 key promises. We use the maximum amount of certified organic ingredients and the minimum amount of chemicals. We believe in recycling and protecting the environment. We never test on animals or actually use animal ingredients. We source our ingredients ethically and use them very carefully, and we have never used ammonia. Now, these promises weren't written recently, they were written back in 1994. So you can see that the company's been set up on that basis, and we haven't changed. The world has changed massively in that time, but our key promises have always been the same, and they will always be the same. On to our key features and benefits, and this is an interesting slide because there's almost too many features and benefits to get into one PowerPoint presentation, but what we tried to do is condense down the key areas that have come up in recent conversations and areas maybe of concern or information that perhaps hasn't been made that clear to you guys in North America and Canada and the US in the past. So just to run through them, I'm sure a lot of you know these already, and I do apologize if we're covering some ground that may be familiar to some of you, but as the audience is mixed and we're not 100% sure on information that's been put out in the North American area, we're going to start with basics and work our way through. So the colour is made with 95% naturally derived ingredients. That basically means it's originally sourced from a natural base, but it goes through a chemical process to make it suitable for use in cosmetics and hair colours. 60% of the ingredients we use are certified organic, and that means they have been certified by the independent body, either the Soil Association or EcoCert in Europe. We use a very low pH for the colour, and that will come on to some more details in the next few slides. We also use the lowest possible level of PPD, and our range is 0.06% to 2%. That is in the bottle, so that's a concentrate. Obviously, when you use the product, it's mixed 50-50, so that percentage then halves on head. And again, we'll come on to some more information on pigments and so on in a few slides' time. Obviously, ammonia free, always have been, always will be, and we've never used ammonia. We've never used resorcinol, and we've never used parabens, and that was before all the scare about parabens. We just didn't use it from day one. Some more information for you on the gluten-free, which may be an area that you didn't know about. All the products are gluten-free, so that's something I think that's been questioned in the US quite a lot, and Canada, so that's a good positive one for you. We're vegan and vegetarian friendly. We have full grade coverage. We don't use any plastics in our products, styling, conditioning, and so on. And basically what we mean by plastics is PVPs and acrylates, which are very effective at coating the hair, but also not very good at allowing the hair to live and breathe, and you get build-up. We have non-aerosol products. We will never use aerosols. It's against our principles, so we will not use them. So therefore, there's some limitations in some styling ranges, but however, you still have a mousse with a non-aerosol pump, hairspray, and so on, and even now dry shampoo. The highest quality control standards in the EU, we have to work to a very high standard. It's seen as a higher standard than food, and it's seen one step below pharmaceutical. So I have heard recently that's question marks over EU standards compared with US. Well, I can assure you that the EU standards are very, very high, and we have to work within those restrictions. We also have a statement from all our raw material suppliers that we do not use GMO material. We do not use sodium chloride, which is salt, which, as you know, is a widely used thickener in shampoos, but also degrades the hair and breaks the keratin bonds and causes damage. No sodium lauryl sulfate, again a very aggressive surfactant in a lot of shampoos. We use pharmaceutical grade peroxide in our activators. That means that it's very stable and does not release oxygen readily, so it is more stable. We have 63 permanent colors and 10 semi-permanent colors. And what we offer is a 360-degree salon system, which basically means if you want to be 100% concept salon, you can do it with Organic Color Systems products. We have everything you need. Now, we understand some salons obviously have other products, that's fine, but what we are saying is that we are the complete system that, in fact, I don't think there's anyone else in the world that offers every single product that you need. And just another point on the care range, the shampoo, conditioners, etc. It is 100% natural aromatic. There's some confusion over the word parfume or parfum on the INCI list. That is a legal term, a requirement under EU law to use that. It does not mean it's synthetic, and it's just an interpretation of the information, but you can be assured that all our ranges in the care range have 100% natural aromatic fragrances. Now, the next slide is just a quick run through on the basic methods of colouring hair. And the reason this is on this presentation is just to clarify, again, maybe a misconception. I've heard it recently said about direct pigments and the fact that they don't need to be used, and I just want to clarify that. So when we talk about a temporary hair colour, we talk about direct pigment. It coats the hair. It lasts a wash or so, and this would be typically an example of a coloured mousse. When we talk about a semi-permanent, again, it's a direct pigment. It coats the hair. It lasts 6 to 8 washes typically, and this is what's known as a semi-permanent colour. Now, a semi-permanent colour sticks to the outside of the hair and washes and fades away. It's crucial that there's a difference here, because a lot of clients will come into the salon and say they've used a semi-permanent, and when you ask them did they mix it with 2 bottles together, they say yes, and that's not a semi-permanent, that is a demi-permanent. So the next section, demi or quasi, it has oxidative pigment. This penetrates the cuticle and lasts more than 8 washes, but it only penetrates a small distance into the hair. It's a permanent colour with a low level peroxide, and that's typically 1.5 or 3%, but typically 1.5% peroxide, which gives a demi-permanent result. And that's important because oxidative pigments contain PPD, PTD, and therefore if you have clients with allergies to those ingredients, you need to have a semi-permanent. So a true semi-permanent would be like the No Limits product. Then you've got permanent oxidative pigments, changes existing colour in the hair, and permanent colour with a medium to high level of peroxide, typically 6 or 9% peroxide. Okay, so many people say that it's wonderful that ammonia is not in the hair colour, but you need to understand why ammonia was in hair colour and what effects it has. So this is just a simple slide to go through that. So the main function of ammonia is to raise the pH of the hair, and it does it very successfully. It opens the cuticle and it allows the hair to swell, and it takes up colour. There's no doubt about it, ammonia is very effective at opening the hair. What that does, though, it takes the hair very high on the pH scale. So the more ammonia, the higher the pH of the hair. And what that means is the cuticle is expanded and the hair shaft is expanded, and it allows the colour to enter the cortex. But clearly that causes damage. And the secondary function of ammonia, which is often overlooked, is the slight lightening effect. So when ammonia is mixed with peroxide, it neutralizes the existing color pigments in your hair, and that creates its own level of lift. Typically, if you had no pigment in an ammonia cream, it would give you 1 to 1.5 shades of lift. But there are 3 main side effects to using ammonia. As the colour swells the cuticle to enter the cortex, there is significant protein and moisture loss, and this is what we know typically as damaged hair. The pH of the hair is raised very, very high, and that doesn't allow it then to be closed down. So effectively, the cuticle is left open post-colouring. Often people will say their hair feels thicker or fuller. That's simply the cuticle being left open. And of course that then allows damage, significant colour loss and fade through sunlight, environmental damage, etc. And also due to the lifting effect or neutralising effect of ammonia in hair colour, there needs to be a greater level of pigment placed in that hair colour to correct that lift. So in other words, if you have a base 5, it lifts to a base 6. To get the pigment back to a base 5, you need a significant more of PPD, PTD to create that colour. So when we started out back in 1994, when we told people that ammonia wasn't needed in hair colour, that was like a revolution, and people really were very sceptical. But as we've seen over the last certainly 5 or 6 years, ammonia has become ever more less popular, shall I say, and has been removed from a number of big manufacturing companies' hair colours, and that's great. We've campaigned for that for a long time, and that's what we believe that should be the right thing to do. It doesn't need to be in there, but it's no good if you just replace ammonia with another alkalizing agent and keep the hair or the colour at the same pH, and this is effectively what's happened. So it's like swapping one for another and not really understanding the key features of what the hair is going through and what are the benefits of low pH. So just to explain why we are different, and this is fundamental to what you've been perhaps hearing recently. Organic Colour Systems is an alkaline base. So the base, 60% of the ingredient, is made from a conditioning oil base. So not only is it alkaline, but it's also an oil which softens the cuticle. So this allows the process to start working. So this softening process means that Organic Colour Systems is able to work at a lower pH than regular colour and indeed other non-ammonia colours. and obviously that means it's more gentle to the hair. We do use ethanolamine, or MEA as it's sometimes known, but it's there at a very, very extremely low percentage, because all it's doing is topping up the already alkaline base. Now, that's the crucial difference. It's only topping up an already alkaline base. So ethanolamine is used to increase the pH enough to open the cuticle, allow the colour to enter the cortex. And that's what it's doing. Its function is to open the cuticle. Simple as that. So this is just a quick picture of exactly what pH and where our products work. I'm sure you're all familiar with the pH scale, but those who are not, basically you've got acid at the top in red and alkaline in blue at the bottom. And starting at the bottom and working back, you've got chemical color bleach. So anything between a 10 and 12.5 is where traditional colors or bleaches work. Organic color systems works between 8.5 and 9.5, and that purely depends on shade. So the lighter the shade tends to be the slightly higher pH. Then moving up the chart, we have organic care systems working between 3 and 5.5. And the reason why this is so important that the correct care products are used is because they are designed to be used with a color, and they are also acid, as you can see. And acid means the cuticle has been closed down efficiently. It's absolutely vital that after a color is washed off, the hair is shampooed and then conditioned with the right conditioner. And that conditioner has a pH of 3, which brings the hair back to its isometric point of 5.5. So hair and skin is naturally balanced at 5.5. When it's out of that balance, it becomes damaged and starts to change structure. On the left-hand side of the scale, you see organic curl systems. This is where our perm system works, and it's a multi-pH perm, which allows you to use one perm on any head of hair, and that works from a pH range of 4 to a pH range of 8 by using an adjuster. And then on the left-hand side of that graphic is a pictorial image of how the hair changes shape when it goes through pH changes. And so if you take a hair to a very acid state, it actually opens up extremely. Then it condenses, and as you bring it back to 5.5 is optimum position, and then it opens as the pH rises. So simply you are increasing the cuticle swelling or opening to allow the hair to be changed. So here's some information and some facts on 3 key areas we believe that maybe have been misunderstood. So apologize if you know this, guys, but we'd like to just cover it to make sure there's no confusion. So PPD free. There is no difference between the toxicity levels of PPD or PTD, and I would also bracket in there PTDS. Essentially, these are all, and including PPD, there are skin sensitizers. There's no getting away from that. The crucial thing is about how much you have to use. So color using PTDs use at least 1.5 times the quantity of PPDs to be effective. And as we've seen in the previous slide, it's all about pH and lifting. And when you don't increase the pH and you don't lift the natural color out of the hair, you don't need as much pigment. As simple as that. So our pigment levels are significantly lower than traditional colors or even so-called natural colors. But you do have to be very careful. Those who are allergic to PPDs can just as likely be allergic to PTDs and PTDSs. And I believe, and we believe as a company, that PPD-free claims are misleading to the consumer. We have to carry out sensitivity tests with PPD, equally with PPD-free hair color. So the reality is, unless it has PPD or PTD, it is not a permanent color. If you have clients who are allergic to these pigments, or you think they're allergic to these pigments, then clearly they need a patch test. And if they are allergic, the only options they have are semi-permanent colors, and they need to be used. So I'd just like to make that point again. These are both sensitizers, and it's about the percentage used in the color. Okay, so ammonia free. These colors will usually contain ethanolamine, as we've already said, that's MEA. But importantly, when you're talking about a cream color, in other words, a tube color, when you produce creams in production, they are naturally acidic. So to create an alkaline hair color, you have to use more ethanolamine. It's simple maths. So to create that pH to open the cuticle, you put more ethanolamine in. So colors containing high levels of ethanolamine can still irritate the scalp, which I think has been proven, and it can damage the hair, just like ammonia. So it's about the pH of the product. That's where irritation and damage can occur. Colors containing high levels of ethanolamine also have the same issue, that you cannot return the hair to its ideal pH because it's too alkaline. So therefore you need silicones and plasticizers and plastics to make the hair feel like it is back to where it should be, but all you've done is fill the cuticle up with silicone. And that's exactly what's happening in the process. So with organic color systems, the reason the hair feels natural and has natural shine and feels soft is because the cuticle has been closed, hasn't been swollen up and damaged, and the hair feels like it should do as a natural state. And the last one there, organic claims, just to clarify, because again, it's different in different countries and different places around the world, but a product does not have to be certified as a whole organic in order to reference the use of organic ingredients. So if a brand does make claims about the product containing organic ingredients, these must be clearly denoted on the INCI, that's the ingredient list, usually with a star or some kind of indication, and it tells you which certification body has been obtained from. So typically with organic color systems, you will see Soil Association or Natural Organic, and that's a standard from EcoCert, and we mark all our ingredients with an asterisk to ensure that you have full visibility of what is organic and what isn't. And this is just a simple definition of what organic means. I think the first one is pretty straightforward: produced or involving production without the use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, or other artificial chemicals. And that's very simple when we're talking about a carrot or a lettuce or an orange, because it's quite easy to define. What becomes more difficult is when you're talking about complex ingredients in a complex mix in a cosmetic, and this is where some of the confusion actually comes. The other part of the description, or the definition should I say, is that actually it denotes or characterized by a harmonious relationship between the elements of a whole. And if you think about the way that we are describing the product, the way the name works, Organic Color Systems, it is a complete system. It works in harmony with nature, with the client, and with the hairdresser. So to me, those two definitions sum up beautifully what we're all about and what we've always tried to do from day one. So, Organic Color Systems. It allows you to take any head of hair. It allows you to analyze it. It allows you to treat it, and allows you to change it. And as we can see on the slide, with a wet stretch test, it allows you to become the expert, the doctor of hair. It allows you to give the client that extra service, that extra level that they won't be receiving in other salons. Gets the hair into optimum condition. Because when you change it with Organic Color Systems or curl systems, you don't damage. So it's a different way of thinking, but it's the way that is taught as a system. So you can do everything you need to do with Organic Color Systems. So our whole ethos is about healthier hair. It's what we set out to do right at the beginning and what we've always maintained. So it's maximizing the gentle, nourishing ingredients, minimizing the harsh ingredients. No ammonia, so we don't have the protein and moisture loss, but equally a lower pH, which doesn't allow protein and moisture to be lost. It gives you the ability to close the hair down, to seal the hair naturally with the cuticle, and to give a lovely finish to the hair. So we like to say we're kind to the hair, and it shows. And I'm sure from the feedback from your clients and the feedback that we see on the Facebook messages and emails, this is the message that we get day in, day out from the clients and from hairdressers. So where are we now? Well, we're moving into a very exciting time for the business, and this is really part of why we're talking to you today, because we are now in direct contact with our North American salons. So in June this year, we commenced direct distribution. Just a few weeks ago, August, we set up our North American distribution hub in Massachusetts, and I think some of you are already receiving your orders, so that's excellent. And from September, we are introducing a salon education and webinar program. This is the first of the webinars. The salon education will be starting and will be rolled out using a model that we've used in the UK and Europe to get a real level of education, not only about how the product works, but also about ingredients and a more in-depth knowledge of the products. So you'll have to watch out for information being posted and emailed, but that will be coming shortly. I think all of you have received the Salon Manual. That's a comprehensive guide to everything that you need to know about the product, the full range. If you are missing or you didn't receive that, please let us know. You can send us a message or email, and we'll be able to get that off to you to allow you to really study the information there. There's a lot of information, and it is in a PDF format, so you can just click through and see what you need. But it should cover the basics that you need. So we're very excited about this next stage of the business, very excited to be dealing with the customers directly, and it's a very exciting time to be involved with Organic Colour Systems. So here's a few images of our education program in action. These images range from Russia, Italy, London, and Spain, I believe. So we are well versed in training around the world. It's what the company was set up originally, how the company was set up. We were started by two hairdressers who believed in education, and we haven't changed. So I know there was some concerns about the education program and whether that was going to continue, but please be assured that we will be continuing. We'll be rolling it out, and I think you'll be very excited about what we'll be doing. And it will follow a routine and a program. So please, as I said before, please watch out for information being emailed on Facebook. And here's some of the fantastic feedback that you guys have been giving us, which has really been very, very encouraging to us, very exciting for all the guys in the factory and the girls and guys in the office who've been answering the calls, because it's nice to know that we're doing the right thing. It's nice to know we're on the right lines, and it's great to get your feedback. So please, I'll give you time just to have a look through these, but please, if you do have any feedback, if anything we can do better, please let us know, because it's all about developing us and the brand, and also helping you to build a better business and a better hairdressing business going forward. And as I say, when we started this business, there wasn't many people talking about non-ammonia color, let alone animal-free, paraben-free, and all these other things that we now take for granted. So we've been doing this for a long time, but it doesn't mean we can't get better and we can't improve. So we'd like to get your feedback. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll always do our best to make sure that we look after you. What has been very rewarding from my point of view is that the product stands up. The product that you love and you use is what drives this business. We are a product-based business. So thank you guys for using it, and look forward to seeing you face to face in maybe the near future. So just to round up, thank you for your time. If you do have any questions, please type in or email us, or you can give us a call, give Katie a call. I'm sure she'll be ready to take your calls and questions. If there's anything that we can do to help, please let us know. Hopefully this first webinar has been useful for you, and look forward to some more in the future. Thank you very much.